back to my YouTube channel. If you're new here, my name is Shime. If you're not, thank you for tuning back in. So in today's video, we have a special guest. We have Avehe.
Hi guys.
She is also a YouTuber. She has very wholesome content on her channel, so if you haven't checked her out already, please do. So you guys are watching a new series on my channel. This is the premiere. This is episode 1. This is the first episode, called Wife Diaries. So you guys are always requesting for me to do more wife marriage content.
Yeah.
So I am here to deliver.
But it's needed. It's really needed. It took you long enough.
But I'm like, I've been married for what? Not even a year, and I'm already here giving wife content.
I know. Oh, you don't have to necessarily be the only one giving the content. You will have veterans like Vicky coming here on. So you know, I'm really not a veteran. I'm still very new at this.
Okay, but you are more experienced than
compared to you, yes.
So I got married in December last year, and we are in September. So
8 months, 9 months,
10 months.
Oh yeah.
So we are married for 10 months. It's gonna be our anniversary. Oh,
month anniversary passed already.
It was our anniversary yesterday. Yesterday. We always forget like the month anniversaries. But like
I think it was something that I was very intentional about. Like the 22nd will not go by without me saying something like, babes, we survived 11 months, babe, we did what, you know, like I think it's important to celebrate like the
so
small
important.
victories.
But even like when we were dating, we would always forget.
Okay, so it's not your thing.
It's really not.
Which
but
is
like
okay.
the year mark, we would always make sure to go all out.
No, then you're fine.
But 10 months now. How long have you been married?
I have been married for 4 years. We made 4. And it's gonna be 4 years and 2 months. Because we got married in July. This is August, September. Yeah, it's gonna be
4 years.
4 years and 2 months.
Wow. I have some talking points, not that many.
Yes.
But
okay, but like, can we do a disclaimer? If you guys hear someone snoring, the little minion is here. I came with
Avehe's baby cousin
my
is
niece.
Here.
Yes.
Come on, baby
Yeah,
cousin.
my niece is here with us, so she's somewhere sleeping there, and she snores like a grown person.
I think you guys can even see her. She's over there.
Somewhere there.
Yeah.
Cool.
So I have a couple of talking points, but not that many. This is just supposed to be like a free-flowing conversation.
I like that.
So let's talk about your journey to getting married. When did you realize that you wanted to get married? How old were you? And like, do you consider yourself as you got married young?
Okay, no, first of all, I do not subscribe to the notion of you're too young to get married. If you are old enough to have sex, you're old enough to get married. Honestly, so let's not do that whole thing. Or if you're old enough to have a child, you're old enough to get married. So I'm as straightforward as it gets, guys. So I'm just gonna say it that way. So I don't think there's the whole thing of you're too young to get married, because if we are too young to get married, our grandmothers were never supposed to be married the ages that they were married and stuff like that. As long as you are no longer a child, you are eligible for marriage.
Yeah.
I don't think I was one of those marriage girls. Like,
in the beginning.
I can't wait to be married. No, not even in the beginning. Like I was just not
in
just in general. I don't think I was. I think I would sometimes get tied into the hype when you're with other girls, and then they're like, oh yeah, marriage, this marriage, especially when you are in church fresh. It's like what everyone talks about. But then like for me, I don't think I was that girl. Like even when you see my dating life track, like I legit only dated 2 people. From there on, I was just in and out of situationships because I wasn't a commitment type of person. So I don't think I had a really, like I was one of those people like marriage is for me and whatever. So when I came around and found my husband, or when my husband found me, or whenever that whole situation happened, it was so organic that I couldn't have even wished it or thought it in my head. So I guess that's best way to answer that. Because Kavi and I, like, we were friends for so long prior to even feelings or whatever. And then even when the feelings came, I was coming from a whole messed up situationship where I was like telling myself that, Lord, I don't want this. I don't want to be dating anybody. I don't want to be in this weird predicament anymore. And as a matter of fact, I just want to be alone. And it's like the moment you say that, God is like, okay, now you're done, you know.
So for me, it was, I think, also the same same story. When I was young, I'm still young, but like
Yes.
when I was younger,
Which was a younger.
when I was like a teenager, I was very like a wild child in the world, party girl, you know. I was also not into like relationships. I'd have like meaningless flings, but never like a serious relationship. That's why when I met Viku, like me and Viku's relationship or our story is like a huge part of my testimony.
Yeah.
So like when we first met, or like I was not about like getting married. I would look at like young marriage and I'd be like, oh, that would be nice. But I never like actually thought about it to the point where I want to do that.
Yes.
So I met Viku when I was like 16. No, not 16.
14, 15?
15. I was very nautical.
Yes.
So naughty. Oh my gosh, I'm so embarrassed.
I can't wait for a time where you share like pre-Jesus.
Yeah.
Shime. I think you need to do a pre-Jesus Shime so people can understand. Because sometimes when you say that, oh, when I was younger, and then you say 14, 15, people are like, what could she have possibly done? That's what everyone says, because I got married at 22, right? And people are like, what could you have possibly done before that? I'm like, I did so much. You have no idea. You know, and that's why, like, I feel like we have to have like pre-Jesus series.
Definitely, we can talk about that in another video. But yeah, met him at like 15 years old. The way he came on so strong.
You're probably like, what is this?
I'm still here, I'm enjoying my life. I don't need time for like serious commitments. So when I did finally give him a chance, like I saw that this guy is way too serious. Like we need to let it go. And then when I started like getting closer with God again, when I recommitted to God, that's when like God like really started showing me that like this is your calling, this is the way you should go. This is the man of like this is your husband.
This is who I ordained for you.
So me getting married young was never in my plans. It was just God.
When you know,
convictions. Yeah, like I was deeply convicted to go this path. Like this is, I'm meant to be a homemaker. I'm meant to be his wife. Like, and like the love, like I didn't really love him when we were dating first, but like the love really did grow.
Oh,
you know?
Yes, I
so
love
it was
that.
one of those things where like it wasn't love at first sight. It was like you
grow in love.
Yeah, you grow in love.
I love that.
And it really like just grew as time went by. So I was never part of like, I'm gonna get married young.
Married young gang, whatever you guys call young anyway. But yeah.
So you said you were 21 when you got
22.
And I was 21.
Yes.
All right. So what has been your experience this far?
I think I would do it all over again.
Yeah.
Yes. So not only have we been able to grow together, we've been able to build together. We had nothing getting married. Literally, my husband got his job the Monday before our wedding.
Oh my God.
So we were both unemployed. Okay, I was employed, but like making $3,000. So I was like, it was the ghetto. We had nothing, but we knew that we loved one another.
Yeah.
And because of that, it enabled us to grow together, build whatever it is that we're building together. There's no like disunity in the sense that, oh yeah, this is mine, this is whatever, Because the season before we got married, I was the one who was working. I'm the one who had like, I had a little bit of savings, or like, not even savings. Kavi had savings. I had like, because I had been working at the magistrate court for 4 years prior to that. Yes, prior to that. So I had like my, what do they call it? Pension money to like cover, get us started, do some things like get some wedding stuff done, or even the time before, because then we were both jobless. We had rent to pay and all of that stuff. Because again, I was living on my own. I was not living at home.
Independent gal.
Yes, so all of that, and it just enabled us to grow. So there's so much unity in the sense that we've built everything together. Everything we have now is things that we've worked hard on. Whether the other person had an emotional part to play in getting it done, it's that. And I think for me, it's awesome in as much as they are little, because you're growing, right? And as you grow, you tend to discover yourself more. You change every single year. And I think the one thing that I think is so important is that we continue to be students of our spouses. And we've had that journey. We have fought really well. I'm a big advocate for fighting and fighting well. So I I wouldn't do it any other way, man. Like, it's been great. It's been great.
For me as well, one of the biggest reasons that we decided to do this. So obviously we started dating, you know, and then we would have those serious talks like, okay, like what are we doing here? Are we gonna get married? Okay, well, if we want a wife, we wanna get married. So one of the things that we had in common was like the fact that we are going to start with nothing, but we're just gonna start. Doesn't matter if I have a job, if he has a job, if he doesn't. If we are able to with what we can, we are going to start.
Absolutely.
And we wanted to build together as well. We didn't want to say, no, after I get a car, after I get a house, then I'm gonna get married. You know, destination goals in relationships,
those
they're
are
really
not
like dead end.
Yeah.
Sorry to say, but in my opinion, they are dead end. Like, no, I'm only gonna get married after I acquire this.
Like,
I mean,
you acquire the car and then I crash.
Sometimes it is realistic. Right. Sometimes you really don't have a job, you have no means of providing for yourself. Then that's realistic to wait for that. But if you are in a position where you can do that and you really truly love this person and you both have the intention to do that, why wait? Like, what are you waiting for?
Absolutely.
So that was one of the reasons that we wanted to get married as soon as we did, was because we wanted to build together. We didn't want to come to a point in our relationship where we're like, this is mine, this is mine, this is yours, this is mine. Because like at the end of the day, like materialistic stuff, money, that's what gets in between like relationships. True. It's so sad, but like that's what. But it's true. It really does affect relationships. So we wanted to like just be tied in everything that we built and we do. And when we first got married as well. Viku had just graduated. Oh no, he actually graduated a while ago. But then he had gotten off of his job. So I had a job that wasn't like very, very stable as well. But it was enough to get us like by somewhere month to month. So like we're looking at our financial situation and then we're like, is this gonna work? And like the thing that would also like get in our heads were like other people would be like, oh, but are you guys going to be able to provide for yourselves? Are you guys going to afford rent? How are you guys going to eat? You know, all that stuff. So annoying. And like when more than 3 people say it, then you start to think like, are we actually? But then I think more we would just listen to the Holy Spirit and like just like trust, like blindly go into this and trust God and trust that He will provide for us. And when I say that there were months we were like, how are we going to pay for rent?
What are we gonna eat?
What are we gonna eat?
Why no, guys? Why no? Honestly, if only our husbands were here, like to remind us, because sometimes you tend to forget, especially when you are removed from that place of like, because like sometimes you really sit there. Like I remember, my husband is the one. Like I can't cook if we don't have all the ingredients. Like I'm just like, well, I struggle food and you really like I'm not gonna do it.
My husband.
But my husband will make do with everything, and he will make a proper meal. But there are times where he will just take the tomato sauce and the macaroni and then the spices, and then the things just come together. And then you're sitting there, and you're just like, how are we coping? How are we surviving? And then I'm reminded, it's moments like that I'm reminded that honestly, we don't provide for ourselves.
We don't.
God does that. He's Jireh, you know, and because He's Jireh, we are able to go according to His perfect will, follow His steps, because He says that He will provide. He has provided in and out of season before. Why will He stop now? Like, you know? So for me, that has been like my thing. Like, don't tell me you're not going to do it because of money, because your job can disappear any moment. It can. You know, but God is constant. And He's the one who really creates and opens all of those platforms. So I think for me, money, that's the least of it. If you want to find another excuse, find another one.
Money is not.
Honestly, because it's the same thing even when we are like, no, we're not ready to have kids because financially that is not really the reason why I don't want to have kids at the moment. So please, it's not.
It's just an excuse.
Yeah.
This just reminds me of the way my mom raised us. So like we were also in situations where there weren't enough ingredients in the house, but my mom was like, my children have to eat. So I would sort of watch how she would make do with like whatever there was in the kitchen,
and suddenly there was food.
There was food out of nowhere. So like I sort of acquired that skill from her. So like in those months where we really didn't have like anything, I'm like, boy, I'm just looking in the fridge, what can I make? And then I would remember, oh, but my mom used to do this, and then she would do this. And then my husband would look at me like, where did you get it? So like, it's really things like this in life.
My husband calls me spoiled. He's like, you're so spoiled. You're like, and then I'm like, yes, I'm spoiled. I'm your brat. You have taught me these things, you know. Because honestly, I'm like, and also the other thing is that hunger doesn't bother me.
Really?
It doesn't. I can go days without eating and just drinking water, or like, because I don't like water. Like if there's juice or there's oros, I'll just drink oros and I'll be fine, you know. But my husband is like, this girl's gonna kill us. To the banonjara.
Like,
so
I'm not a huge foodie, but like when I get hungry, I'm like, it annoys me. Like I will forget to eat until I get hungry, or unless because like, boy, what are we eating? Then I'll remember, oh snap, I have to cook.
Doesn't bother
But
me.
like,
Kavi will come
hunger
home and
doesn't
be
bother
like,
you.
at all. Kavi will come home and then he's like, babe, maturiye, and then I'm just like, you know, and then he's like, okay, no, I'm thinking maybe I'll make this. He gets so excited about making food, And then he'll be so excited. In my head, I'm just like, well, I'll eat just because you made the food, but it's not like I necessarily
like
want to eat
it.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I'm always like, because usually dinner time is our big meal. So like we'll have breakfast. Sometimes I don't eat lunch because I work by that time. And then dinner time I have to cook again. And I'm like, ugh. So mostly I'll just ask him, so what do you want to eat? He gets so tired. He's so tired of that question. Even this morning I asked him like, what do you want to eat? It's like, I'm good. When I just whatever you make,
just
I'll
cook.
eat.
Just cook.
So he's not very specific. I won't eat something unless it's like nice.
And
Like
it
I
also
like
looks nice.
Yeah, I like nice tasting
presentation
food,
is everything.
you know.
My husband will prepare you the food. He can cook. There's no issue there. He's a better cook than I am. And then I think what he has learned in the last 4 years.
That's very big to admit.
Yeah, no, I have no issue there. You are the best cook, babe. You are the better cook. Anyhow, you know. So, but the one thing that he had to learn was presentation, because he will cook an awesome meal. Mara hashwa kusha utukuwadabi, you know. Because for me, like I like it when it looks a certain way and whatever. But now he's got it. So
my husband will be like, he'll cook and then he'll be like, yeah, mama,
exactly.
I'm like, no, it's fine, just water. No, I don't know how to make it look nice on the plate.
You know,
it's really fine.
Yeah.
But like he also won't cook unless there's like ingredients to cook. Like,
and I must also want to cook. I must be in the mood to want to cook, you know. And again, this is why I get when my husband says I'm spoiled, because like I could be at home the whole day in there, and I'm like, and I'll tell him that, and he's like, it's fine, you know. Yeah, no, I'm really spoiled, and I like it.
So I saw on someone's video, they asked, how do you know you are ready to get married? At
what point?
At what point do you know you're ready to get married? Is it age? Is it maturity? Is it your spiritual life? Is it your partner? Like at what point at what point did you realize you were ready to get married?
Okay. So I don't have a wholesome answer, like is it age, is it maturity, is it whatever, but I would like to think that you do need a sense of maturity, because
definitely
marriage is not a joke. I will say this confidently because I'm married and I can say that. It's, you're dealing with someone's life, and you coming in and being just a burden. It's not cool, you know. So you do have to have a certain level of maturity to handle what marriage throws at you, because it does throw. I'm not kidding you when I say it throws. And you're dealing with not only your husband, but you're dealing with family, you're dealing with a whole lot of changes. So I guess maturity is one of those things, and maybe that's why they say you got married young. But age and maturity, two different things. So please get that right. But I feel like when I knew that I knew, it was the sense of peace that my husband brought me. I didn't feel a sense of danger. I wasn't scared. I wasn't overwhelmed by the thought of marriage, although I was never a pro-marriage person or like who marriage this. But I had this strong sense of peace, strong sense of protection. Like he gave me all of this, he ticked all of these boxes that I felt like when I move out of the covenant of my father, I need to be protected, I need to feel safe, and I need to have peace, because that's the covenant that I'm under. So whatever covenant I'm moving under next, it has to tick these things off, you know. And one thing about my husband is very hardworking, and I knew that this person is going to lead our household. He will work, if it's day and night, he will work to provide, and to not necessarily even just to provide, but to make sure that we are elevated and that we continue to grow. And that's how I knew. I just had that peace, and I had that whole, How did you know? Other than,
for me, it was mostly just the conviction of the Holy Spirit. Honestly, after I I recommitted my life to God. Like literally my whole mindset took a 360, 380. All the desires that I had before, they just like went down the toilet. When the Bible really says, the Lord will give you new desires to follow Him. It's really true, and that's what happened. So like my whole mind shifted 360, and then I had this man that was so passionate about pursuing me, and then I came to realize that every time I was with him, he started to feel like home.
Yes.
So
that's the feeling. That's the feeling. That's the knowing point.
I don't know how. Because in the beginning you would just, you'd still feel nervous, still on your like eggshells. But then at some point it just like switches.
Yes.
And then you just look forward to seeing this person, and you just feel so at peace.
Yes.
And like you're supposed to be here and like home. Like then you start envisioning like your life together and like the kids that you want to make, and like for me it was at that point
that you knew
that I knew.
Yes. And I like that you mentioned that he felt like home, because for me that was also one of the driving factors, because Kavi and I were friends for long before.
Really?
We were friends for long. We met and we became friends, and instantly, like, I instantly loved him. But I loved him as a person. Like I love you now. Like I got to know you, and then I'm like, oh, I love Shime. Like my spirit. Like someone actually asked me, like, why do you and Shime get along? And I'm like, I don't know. I love her spirit. Like something there connects, and it connected perfectly from the very first moment we met. It was like, oh my gosh, so you're been meaning, and it instantly connected. So it was the same way that I connected with my husband. Like I genuinely just, my spirit and his connected, and I was just like, I love this guy. Yeah, and I'm like, I love this guy. You're so sweet. Like you're such a giant. But then I can see through that. Like I can see through this whole big personality that somewhere in there is like this soft person that is so lovable that I just want to love on. And because of that, like, I continued to love him as my friend and genuinely fight for him. And he was a fierce protector of me like that. Even when we were just friends, when there were no feelings, when there was nothing, when it was platonic. And I kid you not when I say our relationship was platonic. Really? When it was so platonic, that when it shifted, we were like, why am I in there? Like this is so weird.
Like those words.
Yes, it was like really. Like it was a horrible time for me, because I'm like, I've never been one of those people, and when people do that, I used to get so upset. I'm like, but you are my brand. Like, what is that? Yeah. So like when that thing switched, I was like so devastated actually, because I was like, I wouldn't want to lose him as a friend because of stupid feelings. That's how I thought, But little did I know. But I always felt that, and Kavi will fiercely fight for you guys. He will fiercely fight for anyone he loves, and for me that was a character that I needed in a husband, because I have siblings that I would fiercely protect, that I would die for in a heartbeat. And to know that someone who is not my sibling, who is not
your family,
who's not
blood,
like especially because we didn't even know then that there was some connection.
We also actually found out that we have
some connection, so like realizing that we're connected, like not before realizing that, to know that there was someone who was fiercely willing to fight for me just like that for no reason.
Wow.
I was just like,
that's crazy.
This guy's a keeper.
That's crazy. I think for me it was also the softness that you were mentioning earlier. I don't know, when we first started to get to know each other, I started noticing that he has like a softness. Like I don't know how to explain it, but like just the way he talks to me, like so gently. Yes. The way he handles you, so like carefully.
Like an egg.
But then there's also like this fire that you can see inside of him that's trying to pursue you, and like the determination and drive. So that's all the stuff. Like was an all-rounder. Like it was a full circle
picture
moment for me. Like this guy like really has like, and you can see like different parts of his personality that like start coming out the more that you start to get to know each other. But there's also this quote that says, if you are not best friends with your husband, then like it's not gonna work, because you gotta be best friends in order for your marriage to work out.
And but guys, don't get us confused. I'm also not one of those advocates for your spouses to be your only best friend. Your what? I'm not that person. They are entitled to have their friends. They are entitled to have their best friends, because the thing is, sometimes they need to have someone who's on the outside to just help
Yeah.
them. And for me, I'm okay with that. I'm not one of those
And it's good
against.
to even encourage that. To like,
Yes.
oh, when last did you see your friend? When are you guys gonna go do something? You guys should go do something.
Why?
You know? But then your brother sometimes thinks I'm yengwaring him. She.
Mamuchi nyengwa.
No, like, but it's good to like have like a part time. You know, especially when your marriage is starting to develop now and you're out of the honeymoon phase,
as they call it.
I don't really believe in that.
Yeah,
but-
no, same.
So now, the last agenda, this video is getting long.
This video is actually fine, Shima. People want a bit long
Is it?
videos. Your
Like
videos
after-
are like 12 minutes, and I'm like, "Bash me munji shitire hapo."
After I see that 20-minute mark, I'm
you're
like, okay,
we need to
end
move.
this
We need to
already.
move. As long as you don't reach 30, you're fine. Like 30
Yeah.
should be like for a really nice vlog.
Okay, so let's just jump into the assumptions. Like assumptions of like what assumptions did you get even like before you got married? Like one of the assumptions I got was like, oh well, why are you getting married? Like your whole life is just gonna end. Like your life stops when you get married. And I'm like, what?
So
Like that's one of the like recurring assumptions that I got, because most of my friends were like, you know, back when I was like a wild girl, like, oh well, but does that mean you're not gonna chill with us anymore? Or like,
Girl,
oh kushopo, your life is just done. You're
marriage
just
is
gonna-
so fun. Guys, I kid you not. Like you get to do everything. And now even have the license to get to do everything. It's now fun. You get to like. I actually started
no
like
guilt, no
traveling.
shame.
Nothing.
Yeah.
And you have your own space. You have. No, I don't agree with that assumption. It's
No,
what
it
we
is.
tell
It's
people.
so bad.
When you were talking about assumptions, I'm thinking of why some people thought I was getting married early. Like another assumption. Why are you getting married? Are you pregnant? That was one that came up. Are you pregnant, or are you just
hot in
or you
here?
just wait?
There was this assumption that was going around. Kama, there's no one that gets married no one gets married faster
than two
mm.
age Christians.
Yeah.
Yes, I heard that
I'm
too.
just like, and I heard it for the
It's for
first
the rest
time
of
when I
my
was getting
life.
married. Like, cause so all people think like we just do the deed all day.
all day.
Like that's the sole purpose of
That's the
marriage.
sole purpose of marriage.
That's all we do.
That's the understanding.
It's so like misunderstood.
It's a misconception, guys. For me, my thought was, why wait if I can start the rest of my life right now?
Why
Tomorrow
not?
is not promised. For also, guys, listen. For me personally, I experienced loss at a very early age. My mom died when she was 38. I was 13. 38. That's like a few years for me,
Very
like
young.
from where I am right now. So my goal was like, I would rather die having lived and having loved fully, as opposed to wait. Oh no, I should just wait. Wait it out for what? I'm ready. I can get married.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So for me, I got another assumption saying that how do you know he's not gonna break your heart? How do you know he's the one? Well, what if you've been married 5 years and then you find out
I don't.
something about him that will just break your marriage or whatever like
I
that?
don't.
And then I'm like, well, because of that fear, I'm going to throw this away.
Can you imagine?
Can you imagine? No, it doesn't make sense to me. I would rather love and lose rather than not have loved at all.
And lose. Still, because you still lose.
Because either way, you're still losing out.
I think for me, at the end of the day, I didn't marry my husband to... Let me phrase this right. I didn't marry my husband for his actions, for his flaws, and for whatever he's going to do in the future or whatever. I'm not responsible for his actions. That's him and the Holy Spirit. The Holy Spirit gets to convict him of the many things, the many flaws, the many actions that he's going to do. Because the thing is, we are all humans. We all fall short of the glory. But I am not going to carry that weight. A whole adult, I'm carrying the weight of him. Like, oh, what if he cheats? Oh, what if he what? What if he doesn't? What if he doesn't? And even if he does, so what?
Boy, and at the end of the day, you know.
Anja Mimbai,
Yeah.
I got to experience bliss. And I would wish this on anyone.
I would literally recommend it 100% to anyone
everyone.
that desires it.
No, absolutely.
Because there are people that they don't want to get married, and it wouldn't be good for them to get married. But if it really is your desire and your conviction, I would 100% recommend it.
Yeah.
And at the end of the day, we are under God's providence and His protection.
Exactly.
And we are called to trust Him.
Mm-hmm.
So why when we know that we are in the hands of our How do
Can you imagine?
grown man
up.
with facial hair and everything?
No. He's gonna do what he wants to do, and he's gonna answer to his father.
Yeah.
We are 3 in this marriage. That's the one we all answer to, so it is what it is.
So yeah, that was the end of the first episode of Wife Diaries.
I'm so excited to be here again. I'll be on this segment soon again.
You will. There's probably gonna be people that are commenting down below. No, talk about this.
Yeah, I love it. I love talking about marriage. I love shedding light on marriage. So we should totally. This is fun.
It was fun. Thank you so much for being on the first episode.
Thank you for
of
having
Wife
me.
Diaries.
Yeah.
Comment down below.
If I knew this was gonna be like a whole first episode of something well in advance, would have had like a glass toast or some ceremonious thing.
Fine, we can do it next time.
You know?
Like, we literally just decided we were gonna do this now.
Yeah.
Guys. Like, I knew I wanted to do this series, but then we just decided that she's going to cameo in my first series.
Which is quite cool because I also have a wife corner and you have a wife diary. So this is makes so much sense.
So we actually filmed a video for her channel as well on Wife Corner. Check it out. The link will be in the description below. Comment down below what other wife things I should address, anything you guys want to discuss. So yeah, thank you guys so much for tuning into today's video, and I'll see you guys next time.